This is another example, a Mafia with HLG HDR with tone mapping on HGIG. This is perfection, man. I don't have another way to describe that. You look at this sun, and I've seen a lot of people talking about color dilution on HDR. You don't get that color, that red of the sun, and all of that crap. I measure with my cell phone app 780 nits on that sun. 780 nits. So let's say that cell phone app is completely inaccurate. Man, that's over 600 nits for sure. That's 700, even probably 800 nits maybe. It and forget about, even let's say it's completely inaccurate. I'm looking at this, for example. I'm looking here, and this fill this fills with so much depth because the luminance over here is lower than the luminance here and here. So this image here has so much depth, and then I look at the light source and it's blinding me. Like I want to just put my hand. This is perfection. And the color is not being diluted. Like that sun is looking like the sun, and the colors on the game are fantastic. Like there's no dilution. You look at the skin tones. It's just perfect. Like, oh, I'm getting a lot of noise. People, the Independence Day, whatever it is, people are just launching rockets and stuff. So, yeah, man, I'm just so impressed with the luminance level. So you see here, for example, look at this luminance level here. It's right. It's not a lot. It's not low. It just feels right. So it gives you so much depth on the image. I have to go to the mission. So I was trying to show some highlights that I was seeing on the windows with the reflection of the sun earlier. So yeah, so you see that window there? See this window over here? Nice highlight. So yeah, man, it's just the best setting for this TV, period. Everything I open, I was looking at, Race of the Tomb Raider, same, 600-700 nits highlights, and it looks with so much depth. The gamma, the way it's tracking the gamma curve, what needs to be low luminance, what needs to be high. I was looking at Fortnite. It was so incredible. I'm gonna show Fortnite on another video because it's just perfection. During the night, it's just perfect. Like it's perfect. I have to show it because it's just unbelievable. This is so impressive. This is looking so good that I am hesitating in just using black frame insertion because I'm gonna kill that highlight. So what I can do is, instead of using G-Sync, I can turn off G-Sync. Let me see if the game doesn't crash. Let me pause the game. Let me try to turn off G-Sync and turn black frame insertion instead. Let's see if the game doesn't crash. Yeah, it's not working, and the reason is I have to delete that 4096 by 2160 resolution from the TV, and when I do that, I cannot turn off G-Sync if I don't turn off G-Sync on the NVIDIA control panel at the same time. So I have to do it first on the Windows. Let me do that actually. Let me do that because I want to show you the difference. It's basically, it has less highlights. So it's gonna be less dynamic range uh, using black frame insertion and using black frame insertion and dynamic tone mapping on. It is not better. And I love black frame insertion, but this is looking so fantastic that, man, I don't want to lose that. So I'm like thinking about how should I use it. So let me turn off. So I have to turn off G-Sync on the control panel and on the TV at the same time. So now it works. So now let me go to the game and I'm going to turn on black frame insertion high. You see there's a lot less brightness. So what I do, you see is dim, super dim. So what I do instead is I'm going to use HDR tone mapping. For some reason the audio got messed up. You see? So now the game is about to crash, I think. Oh no. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, the game is okay. It's back now. So you see the difference is like I get the same luminance, which is great. I get the same luminance. Of course, I have to lock the frame rate to use that option. So I would just be sync on, full screen, just lock that to 60 frames. So it's 59 because I have NVIDIA ultra low latency. So, you know, that's something I can fix. But, so that's why I see a little bit of flickering at 59. So the luminance level is the same, okay? Which is perfect. So this is looking exactly with the same luminance level. It is not giving me as good of a shadow detail. I was testing Batman Arkham Knight, for example, and on the main menu you see Batman's face, and I was not able to see it. With black frame insertion and dynamic tone mapping on, I was not able to see Batman's face. So it is not giving me the same low, you know, close to black detail, and it is not giving me this pop on the HDR. Like that sun is not popping at all. And you know, I'm sure the difference in brightness it might be 200 nits or more. So I might be getting 500 nits, 400, 500 nits. I have to measure that and see what I'm getting there. But on the other hand, I adore the motion resolution. Like, you know, you move the camera and everything looks perfect. Like the resolution is just perfect. So it's a tough decision. But you know, it's a first world problem. I think everyone should try it both ways and see what works for you. I would go back and forth. What do I want? So maybe, for example, if I'm gonna play during the night, I don't want those very bright highlights because that's going to affect your sleep, basically. So, you know, if I want to save my eyes, this would be better for my eyes. And I also love the motion resolution. But it's a tough choice because the depth, I am losing that depth on the image because I don't have the highlights, basically, the shiny stuff. But yeah, they are both great options. I can tell you that for sure. Let's turn it back again to the way it was. See if you can see the difference. Turn this back up to HGIG and turn off black frame insertion. You see it's too dark. You cannot use black frame insertion with HGIG. But you turn it off and it's perfection. It's so good, man. That highlight, I just love it because it gives you, it pops. The sun is popping like in real life. When you're in real life, get a glance to the sun, it's like, oh, I don't want to look at that, it's too bright. So yeah, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And again, I'm gonna show this on every single video because this might be the first video you watch and you might not know what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You come here, you click 11131111, you open this secret menu and you change this EOTF from auto. You change this from auto, which is SDR basically, to HDR. Boom. This is so good, man. Like, for example, on SDR, let's do a comparison here. On SDR, and this is on SDR with everything maxed out, like all the brightness maxed out, which is not accurate at all. The thing is, you turn this to HDR, and the low luminance, so what is supposed to be low luminance and shadow, on the shadow and the black, it stays there. How can I demonstrate that? It's impossible. I'm just gonna turn it on. I do this and it adds so much more depth to the image. That's crazy. How good is that looking? Perfect. And you don't need to know how to set up HDR. This is an SDR game, but you can even use it on HDR games. So, you know, if you're getting almost 800 nits on that sun and perfect, you know, gamma tracking, you know, that's HDR. This is looking like a game that has amazing HDR implementation. That's how good this is looking, which is not common. Like, a lot of HDR games are just messed up. The sliders, they are just bad. Then default, for sure by default, the sliders are very unlikely to be the proper settings, especially for HGIG. If you turn on dynamic tone mapping, maybe you can get a good experience. But with HGIG, you need to know what you're doing, and a lot of games, it just doesn't work. Like in God of War, for example. You just turn on dynamic tone mapping with the default settings. You look at the sky, and you don't see any clouds. Like, everything is just a bright mess. So yeah, incredible.